Hello everyone, welcome back to Visual Programming course. In this movie we will see the dialog boxes that we use in Windows applications. So here I'm listing the commonly used dialog boxes in our applications. It ranges from color dialog box to pick colors and to apply to the objects or the font or whatever. And font dialog where we use to select the font and font effects like that. Open dialog file dialog box we display to choose a file from a location, and save file dialog we use to detect a location where we want to save the file. So we have to remember open file dialog we use to detect the location, not the saving the opening the file. The function of opening a particular document or file is done by the program, that the code that we write, but the open file dialog just shows the location from which we are going to pick the file. And save file dialog, similar to open file dialog, it detects the location where we want to save the file with file name. Dialogs for printing, it has a print document and print dialog like that. Those 2 or 3 dialogs we will use. The components, actually the components that we will use are used to print a document, maybe print to a file or print to the printer output device, right? And the other one, last one, is folder browser dialog box. We use to detect a folder. In the case of file, open file and save file, we use to pick the file name with the paths. But in the case of folder, we don't pick the file name, we just detect the folder path only. Okay, we will see one by one now. First one is color dialog. This is the same color dialog that we see in Windows applications. The one right that is on the left side is the compact version of the color dialog, and the one on the right side is the expanded version of allow full open. If you set the allow full open property of the color dialog, it shows the palette where you can choose define the custom colors based on the RGB value or HSL values, hue, saturation values. So from these palette you can choose more than 1 million colors. So that is a color dialog box. And if you are going to see the description of the color dialog box, the color dialog component is a pre-configured dialog box that allows the user to select a color from a palette. So it allows you to select a color, and the color that you select can be applied to the object or text that you give in the code. It is the same dialog box in other Windows based applications to select, because it uses the same API or the class from Windows operating system. So it is the same dialog box. And the primary property, the property that we use primarily to work with this color dialog box, is color property. We set the color property, or we pick the color property to apply the color. If you keep the allow full open property to true, you will see the define custom colors. By default it is false. Okay. And to display the dialog box, you call the show dialog method of the dialog boxes. We will see in the code how we can apply these. Okay, let's do these. Try an example in Visual Studio. Please stay with us. Here I have launched Visual Studio and created a solution with the project dialog boxes. And let me double click on this form to display the form console. The canvas we have, and a toolbox is not displayed, so I'm going to view and select toolbox here, so that toolbox is displayed. From this toolbox I'm going to add the common controls. I'm going to add rich text box this time. This is new control, and rich text box is similar to the text box, but it has some enhanced feature of notepad text boxes. Notepad is also like a rich text box. It works as a text editor. It is a mini in a nutshell, this rich text box is a mini word processor. It supports basic functionalities of a mini word processor. And let me add a button to launch these color, and let me give a name for this first form. I'm going to display the properties window, and the text is dialog controls. Okay, and let me make it as MIT 223033. Minimize, maximize, no maximize, no minimize box. And the rich text box name, let me call it as rich text box. Okay, so here button, it is color button, and let me give a text for this as color. Okay, let me make it a little wider, and this is also a little wider, and I'm going to make it small. So save the project and start. Okay, it works, and I'm closing the project. Now I would like to add a control, dialog control. It is available under dialog boxes, right? Dialogs. Okay. Here I'm making them smaller, and dialogs. Under dialogs, the first one I'm going to drag and drop is color dialog. I'm going to drag and drop it onto the form, but you see what happens. I'm dropping it on the form. Still it is added at the bottom, because at the runtime this control is not going to show. So it is added to the component tray. Color dialog, it is reading as color dialog 1. I'm going to make it as color dialog. Okay, right, now we will give the functionality for the color dialog. I'm double clicking on this color button. So you might remember we use the show dialog method of the dialog boxes to display the dialog box. So let me call these color dialog dot show dialog. Okay, so this is the method to show the dialog box. I'm going to start this and click this button. You see here the show dialog is triggering this color dialog box. So here I'm clicking on define custom color so that the color can be selected and added to the palette. Okay, here you see you can select the color, but still nothing happens. So let me add some text. I'm selecting them, color, apply. It's not working because we have not given any functionality. Okay, so here I'm going to check it out. So rich text box. Okay, rich text box dot selection color equal color dialog dot color. So this is the property that we are going to use. Okay, so let me run this again. Some text, I'm selecting, clicking, color. So it is applied, right? So this is how it works, and sometimes we have to make sure the color dialog box is shown and color is selected like that. For that purpose we can use an if clause, right? If so, if we are going to test this, if so we have to make sure the dialog box is OK button is selected. Okay, so here I'm going to use dialog result. It is a constructor and it has some enumerators. OK, right? This means dialog results is the user is clicking OK button. So if the user clicks OK button, what to do? Rich text box dot text color is equal color dialog dot color. So the person selects a color from the color dialog box and it is assigned to the selection color. Okay, so now we will run this again. Let's add these are some sample text for color dialog. Okay, I'm going to select the text, color, fine, select the text, color, define color, new color I would like to have, select the color, edit the custom color, click again. Okay, so it is applied. So this is how the color dialog box works, and we will see the next dialog box in another movie. Thank you so much.